Hello and welcome. It is the 24th day of May 2019. This is the Money Charts channel. All bets trades of the like, well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. And as far as how I'm holding my portfolio, top five coins: LITECOIN, Bitcoin, DGB, Bitcoin Cash, and THETA. So I'm going to go over those five. And right now, THETA coin and DGB most certainly live. Bitcoin and Litecoin holding in there. Really, Bitcoin Cash as well. So let's look at it in the order from top to bottom. And I'm going to do Litecoin against Bitcoin, which has been very interesting amongst the Fibonacci from the lows in the earlier parts of December of last year and the most recent highs early in April. It's now been close to 2 months since those highs, and it kept on free falling its way to the downside. Whereas during the entire bear market run, price action didn't even really get above the 18 average of highs. It microscopically did May the 4th, but it resisted it completely below it here, really completely these 2 days. And in today's session, today being that of Friday, it has gotten above it. That's enough to neutralize it. But as far as Fibonacci is concerned, 38.2%, 61.8% in the rounding to the 12.8 handle. And in it, hits it, a little bit of a bounce. Hits it again, a little bit better of a bounce. Hits it again, another bounce up. Hits it again, and it really doesn't bounce too much, and it leaves it on May the 7th. It comes up to it as a level of resistance on May the 8th, and it does, of course, that, resisting it to a new low here, where it comes back both on May 15th and the 16th, resisting that level again. And right now, we're resisting it. And meanwhile, it did so where it pretty much did close to about a 50% retracement, but I would think about a 61% retracement from here to here. Oh, what would that be? About a, I don't know, 56% retracement? But either way, a nice, decent leg higher from here compared to this one. Okay, well, the more often you test resistance, the more likely it is you take it out. It's a double bottom formation, but it's got to get above the neckline, and the neckline is key Fibonacci. In doing so, we're seeing, okay, reverse. Right now the band's flattening out. If it does that, stage two, established level of resistance. Now that it's had this kind of move, it's important to hold the higher low area. 18 average of highs or lows and highs as well, but definitely the lows is going to start to rise now. So holding around the 118, I think would be very important as the most lowest level. Let's go into Bitcoin. But before we do, let's just look at the single hour. And amongst such, it had its first move up to 7 o'clock in here. A little bit of correcting, small little further gain at 12 o'clock. It's right pretty much to a pierce below, but pretty much an exact hit on Fibonacci. And then it's just been grinding ever since, and that's still what's active within it. Let's take a look at Bitcoin for a quick bit. Again, it's holding in there. And amongst this daily chart, okay, so it's looking like it's doing. I'm gonna do a test number three of this resistance area. I mean, it's close. It's piercing below, but for what it's worth, it completed the day showing strength at the 18 average of highs. After it made a move from around the closes, 18 of closes, not shown, to of course closing at the highs. But it just yeah, it's showing strength there. It's just started the day now, so on the short-term time frame within the single-hour term, we had this run up. It's lost a little bit of momentum now, and you have such a large move. If you have a little bit of a leg lower, that's okay. Well, it's bullish to find a higher low, and in shorter time frames like the 4. Oh, I got the 18 average waiting right over here. Let's go on to next one, which is DGB, and boy, does it have a amazing setup on the Bitcoin cross, and we'll take a look at it against the dollar as well. But before we see its amazing shorter term setup, it is hanging in there right now within the 18 average of lows on the monthly. I like its volatility. I like how I can store it in my hardware wallet. And I love its transferring fees to exchanges as well as its time as well being low. And volatility high. That's of course what I like about that. On the weekly term time frame, we're starting to come up. 18 average of lows is in at okay. Well, let's just do it this way. 18 average of lows is at around 217, but it's declining, and it's not going to decline today any further. Unless, of course, it makes new lows. 18 average of highs is in at about 261. It can't decline further. However, can rise intraday because it's taken the highest point of the day. Right now, that's in at 197. So it's up one Satoshi. This is at level. It's at a level not seen since well, its decline near the end of April, start of May. I think it's like May the 3rd or something. But as we look on the daily term time frame, this is where it gets very, very interesting, and the shorter term is even going to show it being very nice as well. As within it, we can see that you have well, the decline. I mean, it's so obvious that just like Litecoin, it never even really attempted to even get above. You have this nice little run up. Your support testing on the lows obviously fails, and the entire run, of course, is down. So down, up, down, make it smooth. This was accumulation of DGB period for me through several different coins. And now, as this market is being played out in the current time frame, this little rally will just that's enough to flatten the band out. Uh, Enough to establish resistance. I don't really think that's important for what I'm seeing right now on that technicality. But what technicality is from that point, obviously, it's got to hold that gain. 18 average of lows is always going to be something I'm going to look at, even if there is no key level or if it does isn't where the key level is. If the 18 average of lows holds in that spot, that's what it's a bullish correctionary move. Buyers come in, you have several days to react, and it does once it gets sold down these levels, people are like, yeah, I don't want to sell anymore. And then you have buyers that are like, oh my goodness, what a deal, and that just of course makes the market move higher in that sense. May the 21st, what have we seen? We've seen a repeat move to this previous level of resistance, albeit from a lower level, but it completed. Oh, that's like a cup and handle formation. 3 days of pausing. 3 days. And this day has got a nice size move, and it's only begun. We're less than 3 hours into the 24-hour day. Price action's at 197 levels, not seen since May the 2nd on the Bitcoin cross. And just the fact is, you see this as it plays out, it's like screaming at you, we're probably going to go up somewhere nice in here. And I did have Fibonacci in before. Let's re-put the lines in again now because those are definitely key levels. 399 is the high. The low is 1.25. I mean, that's just amazing volatility. And let's... So we got 195 and 256. I'll put the 256 in first. And then we'll put the 195 in. I accidentally deleted them before, but pierce below hit, exact hit, microscopic break now, 4 hour term. So 256 break, you probably pierce above, but next Fibonacci level is 256, so I'm going to use that as a target level. In viewing this, it's so super. I mean, this is a strong setup. I just like looking at this. I'm like, wow. Yeah, I love how this high comes in. You correct the 18. You can see this failed breakdown attempt in here. Comes down. Really, it was a matching low test in here. Had this low volatile sideways movement. But when the buyers come in, there we are. Comes in. How is it going to hold this move? Well, an outstanding sideways correction. As 181 has been fantastic support. And the resistance it's got to break is 194, 195. It's at 197, 1%, 2 basis points above that level. A microscopic move. And after several periods in here, starting midnight on the 23rd of May. And now here we're almost completing the 24th of May. Very close to 2 full days of just grinding and staying within this area. Not even coming back to like even down to here where it came from at 172. None of that. And now I'm seeing this thing showing me, ooh, it looks like this is a nice little breakout. And then if we look at this on the single hour term, this looks live to me. Very short term, if it's able to hold and stay above like 190, 191, that is really the key level. But this can go at any time. So if I'm looking to be one of those buyers on a big break, and I was just thinking about 40 minutes ago, man, I should just deposit a whole SHIT load amount of Bitcoin. And even Litecoin, I was thinking, but it's because it's patterned not as strong, but it's more gamblish, I guess. But put a bunch of Bitcoin on, just buy it for a day trade, if you will, and wait for a good 20% pop, sell it for Bitcoin, and withdraw. I mean, I've already got my DGB, and I'll ratio trade and hope that it can make a nice move above that level. On the 15-minute term time frame, that's even more short term, which will be the last one that I will do. As you can see, is just how some of these moves have been. This is really just starting into play. A little bit of volume pickup here, but I wouldn't be if a big volume pickup move starts to come in later. This is Poloniex, Bittrex. I don't know which. Those both sites are both active for it, but um, yeah, if this picks up, you could see easily this thing come in like 20 minutes, and it's 226. And if it happens, it happens. But I'll be ready if I ever see it's there. I'll just see if what ratios I need to be traded, move whatever coins, and realize it's only going to be a few minutes. Let's take a look at this against the dollar next. And we're looking at this against on the same time frame here, 15-minute time. It's looking like it's ready for a breakout. We can see in the single hour just the most magnificent looking setup as well. All of these hit at the 1.54 cent mark, and now it's at 1.58. We'll look at this next on the 4. And again, a lot of this amazing setup here. This exact high is where it's at now. And from that level, it supported where it came from. It held and stayed above the 18 average of lows on multiple occasions because it was piercing below it here for a while. Microscopically got below it here as well, even more microscopically on this period. But how it reacted, this little gobblish period here, had its breakout near previous high. Well, now does it come back and hold where it comes from in the lows? Yes, it did, because this coincided again at the 1.35 handle. And then look at how it moves up to this previous high. And then it doesn't come back to the lows, holds in there. And now it's congesting and staying at an area it didn't do as long as it did before because all of these closes. And here we can just see more action upon this. So it's holding, showing strength at the 18 highs as well. Now it's looking like it's breaking out above it. It's a breakout attempt. It was here as well, but instead it ended up showing strength there because it never went up further, but it didn't break down either. Now it's doing it again. It's been to levels against the dollar not seen since May the 15th. And when we look at this on the daily chart, let's auto this again so we can see more. Well, what we're seeing is this is a monstrous level. This goes back to March the 12th. And we're also seeing a little extra caveat on here. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing I am, but this was a key level of support. Failed move, fast move. So therefore you have this box that I like to draw. Does it break through a key area? I'd say so. This area of support was pretty decent. Did it have a decent leg lower? Oh, I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, I can draw a trend line on the support in here. And that's not good ones, but it's still within the rate of descent. And Well, let's just put it in. What's this, daily? Okay. So it leaves it on April the 24th, and its low is on like May the 12th. So close to 3 weeks of its breakdown slash now getting into here. But you break this level of resistance. You come back to your congestion area, which is really in here, and it even did a bit more. It spent some time within it. So that's what you want to see on the failed move. It goes in there, yeah, it either has a fast move into it, which it didn't do, or it resists it small, which is what it did do. And then on the break, if you see it back to this area, the fast move is not really the previous high. That's a small, that mean it, not much of one. Fast move is a leg higher. And most likely the leg higher is just going to be that anyway. It doesn't need to have a failed breakdown to be fast. It's just usually breaking key resistance. It's going to be fast as it is. And it sure as heck looks like that's what the story of play here is on a technical analysis level. High, boom, high, down, high and staying in this area looking like it's breaking out now. Let's take a look at this next on weekly. And amongst it, it went straight up. Correctionary move had held the 18. Back in there, tried to break out on this move at the 2018 highs. Not quite, but close. Okay, let's hold. Okay, we really got to hold about 2.3. Oh, maybe even down to 1.8. Well, it's lower than that now. Well, we'll use the 18, and well, it pierces below, no big deal. As long as it can hold and stay above this right now, and technically speaking on Fibonacci, as long as it can even hold and stay above here, really was really the end game, 61.8%, and that's pretty much the area. But as we stand for the current session and how this looks in here, we've had this decline. It had the run higher, comes up to here with a newly declining or more flattening out, doesn't break out above, breaks down below or goes down below the 18 lows, but it recovers back above. Another small attempt, but that doesn't do anything. This is all the neutrals phase, but it had its one leg breakdown, doing so in November. And then it comes in here just to the 18, enough to flatten it out. And in a situation like this, I'm thinking, okay, this is telling me that it's going to have a big move higher. Now, what I want to do here is calculate some Fibonacci. We got a low here at 000016249. So I'm going to go 16249. That's right, ball, and this is gonna big. You know what? Let's go 16.49. So we're basically using 6 decimals on this. We're gonna use 6 decimals. And this high is 4769629. Is that the highest number? No, 13. I was going to say, I thought that was wrong. So 1357.06. Okay, so the 103.87 mark. That was the highest number. So the 38.2% down move. That was 38.2% down, was a penny. 1 cent. Pierce below it and match this level in here. If it was going to break down, then the number was down this 20 number. That's where we're going. It's a 20 because that's where 61.8 down is. So 76.4 is where I'm going to think an immediate move might move up to. I'm also going to be able to use this for Fibonacci upside as well, but I'm going to have to do it on a different calculation. But as far as the 76.4 number is concerned, 27.7 or 2.77 cents. And that's what I'll put in here. So I'll just have 277. That's 267. And we'll see if it breaks out, if that's resistance or not. Probably will be. Now, as far as the upside is concerned, okay, so what's the low in here? We have a low of 85 cents. I'll just use that one number. It'll work out just as fine. So price action was 13. I'm just going to put it in this way. 13.57, so it was 13 cents. So this would have been 10. Up target would be 68 cents. So that would be the level if it breaks above the resistance. For me as a trader, it would be okay, well, okay, now it's in that area. I see it at 60, 68, 70. I'm probably going to look for serious profit taking. And that's that coin. Let's move on next to DGB. I mean, I'm on DGB. I've already done it. I'm finished it. Bitcoin Cash is next. And I'm probably just going to say it's holding in there because that seems to be all it's doing. And I haven't looked at this in advance to determine what I'm going to do as far as uh, what I'm gonna cover. But I mean, showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs. It's just and that's pretty strong in how I'm like, and that's consecutive periods doing so on the weekly. On the daily term, it's congesting and just sticking up and just staying within this level. So it looks like it's live and ready to go, but it has been for quite some time, and yet it keeps on maintaining this lows of higher lows. The 18 average of lows is rising at a steady pace. It's live, ready to. I mean, this almost looks like it's going to be an entire crypto rally coming soon, but I like the setup here for BCH. Its market against the US fiat is very strong as well. It's showing a lot of strength at the 18 highs. Amongst the daily term time frame. It's just hanging in there nicely on the 4, but it's spending decent amount of time up at this higher level, maintaining all of these higher lows. It's at a spot where it can sell off. Its last low is 369. It can go down to like 388 or like 390. And still, it's like, okay, higher low. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's in that position where it could and keep the pattern afloat. Let's take a look. Take a look next at Theta, and this thing is live. I haven't seen it since the start of this video, and it's not going up right now. It was just recently, as we can see here. This is just a wild, wild market, to say the least. I love it. I love these markets. I guess now the fundamental news for the reason why this went up is because of Theta Fuel. Because this was just pumping yesterday. I was looking at that through the night. And with that going, and the gold was going as well, I believe, or no, that was the night before, maybe. But yeah, it was this coin last night that, or maybe it was both. I can't remember. Either way, let's start off with the daily term time frame because this is where it gets very, very interesting. Because a straight down move, like some of the others, band has been flattening out. That has been maintaining. So a rally attempt here ultimately failed in correctionary mode. But since the failure, it's correcting extremely well. It is correcting as much as it failed its breakout attempt. Because if you just get this line like this and it comes back fast, well, that's the case. Well, we're still, if anything, I can give it established resistance. That's what we'll do here. We got stage 2 out of the way because this just wasn't good enough. It's a three little bears philosophy that I like to use. for how big of a move is. Okay, stage one, band flattening out. That's really easier to detect, as it was so doing so in this day in here because of how it got into the 18 and it held it for a couple days. That was by far enough to have the band flatten. Stage two is established resistance. So here it goes up, but I mean, that's a lame ass move. Plain and simple. It sucks. So keep on attempting. You're still, that's good for the band flattening out because that's going to make it really nice because a decent correction keep you going. You have that decent correction right down to the lows. And then yesterday's day, it just has this phenomenal play. And it gives it all back. But what's it doing now? It's got a nice little bit this green candle. It's been up a bit, but it's also came back. Well, let's shorten it out. So in the 4 hour, this was that big move that happened last night. And I was able to sell some right near that high. It was 17 high 17s, around 85 I think, 1785 I think I sold Theta. I did so for Litecoin, and then in the morning when I woke up, I flipped the market back over. That's just how you do it. That's how I do it. So since the move, how does it react to the sell? Every time you have that break above it, because okay, we have a down move. You're not breaking out here. Another leg lower. So you're in a decline. That's obvious. So once you have some sort of move, there can be so many times where this thing fails, and I need to see weakness on the 18 lows. It hasn't even tested it yet since. It's consistently been testing the 18 highs. It didn't touch it here, but it held the fall from here, staying within this trend line, of course, breaking out here. And now still at the 18 highs in the correctionary mode. We're in the 4 hour, so within this time frame, only 47 minutes left. So we've had 3 hours and change, or 4 different 1 hour periods. Let's take a look at that. And here we have it. Interesting situation. Okay. So there's the downtrend. Up it goes. Sideways correction. Monstrous move. Now it comes back down. It does the loads of correcting within the 18 average. This is where it's cool. All right, so we have the band flattening, correcting. There's a huge breakout. Like always, whether it's from a down move or whether you're trying to resume, and this is a monster resumption if it can do it. If you're trying to resume the trend, you've got to hold these areas. Especially early on, you don't want to test the 18 average of lows after anytime soon anyway in a correctionary move after you come here so fast. Something that should take several periods, 3 to 4 at least, through price or time. Because through time, then this thing is just going to start to rise, and you would like to see it test the 18 lows and this area where it came from at the same time. However, with that being said, there's nothing wrong with having that quick comeback. This is one of those rare situations where if you're trading this, you have no choice but to shorten this out some more. I'm going to put a line pretty much where we're at now because that's the area of this little support area, but more importantly, it's where it resisted here. It's where the area where it break the earlier resistance level where it broke out from here. Now, like I said, I want to hold that key area. And if it's going to have a quick move, like I stated, I don't want it to correct on the lows, but a quick move in one period to the highs is fine. So now in shortening this out even further, 15 minutes, okay, now that we've come back down to here, are we going to see signals that this thing is real? It made the statement in here, breaking out, that it for it to go in. So as I've talked about, and I don't play it these ways, but different strategies, because this is how I learned it, and this is how other textbooks try to teach it as well. At least from how I read and watch their videos, and I don't read too much of them. And with that being said, you you buy on the clear break in here. So you buy here at 16.13, and you're still holding. Because why would you stop out here? This is exactly an area where it should come back to if it does. And one of the reasons I don't play it is because I don't know where the best stop would be. I really don't. But one of the things you do have to be careful for is that failed breakout because that can most certainly happen. But That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to. With that being said, when you see this, there's two things I can really say here. One is the gamble where you buy now. Now, as far as your stop, it'd probably be in the same areas where it should have been here. It just means that your risk tolerance is a little bit lower and you're pretty much looking for the same reward. Your other risk in doing this is, especially if you've seen this originally, you're like, okay, I'm not going to buy this. I'm going to wait for it to come back. And if it just goes way high, it might not go back. And you're like, damn, I missed it. And you knew that it was going to go higher, but you were just hoping to get a better price. But if it's going to be a failed breakout, then 100% of the time you're going to lose and you're going to go long. Because before it goes down to that fast move lower, it's going to go here. And furthermore, the next strategy on it is, okay, now that I've seen it give me the statement here. This is where the statement is that I'm going for a big move. We already know this is major support. So now that I've seen the statement been made, I've seen it come back down to it. I want to see strength above this. Maybe I want to see it come above the 18 and then hold it maybe for a couple of periods, see how the volume indicates, see if it's showing me that real momentum's coming in. And then what I'd be maybe doing in here is giving myself what looks to be a better probability odds that this is going to a play that's going to have a good break above in comparison to a big failed breakout in this spot. Because that's really what the two things would be. You see it start to go up. What else can it be? It either fails it here or it succeeds. I mean, it's a binary, two choices. And finally, let's just add a bonus coin to the Theta Fuel. This is my strategy with it. Might as well trade it, but it's funny, I talk about putting coins off the exchange. Okay, so my T-Fuel, vast majority of them are off it, but it doesn't take long to bring them on there when I need it. Vast majority of them are off the exchange. My Bitcoin, my Litecoin, practically all off the exchange. My Binance coin. How many people take them off the exchange for security reasons? Because I kind of find that funny. How does Binance coin survive if Binance doesn't? And then if they survive, what problems do you have having those coins on the exchanges? That's just something I laugh about the idea of, because I mean, okay, I take my Litecoin like yesterday. I made the trade, and even this morning, same thing. Last night I make the trade. Okay, I sent some Theta over to Binance. Okay, sell it for Bitcoin. Then I end up selling it for. Then I buy Litecoin. Okay, that's now go to my file where I know see where my public key is. Okay, there's the Litecoin. Put it in there, push the send, and they're off the exchange. And yep, that's exactly what I want to do. Because if something happens with Binance, and Litecoin's gonna keep going. At least I'm a firm believer of that. And I'm not saying anything will. I just know if I can hold it, I rather would. But for Binance Coin, BNB, which is what this would be crossed against here, as you can see, Theta Fuel against BNB, it holds like that's what you use for paying fees. And what I did is I thought, you know what? Why don't I do a strategy this way? Trade on a unit basis. Buy back. For every one Theta Fuel I sell, I want to buy one Theta Fuel back. So if I sell, say, 1,000 at a time, like 1,000, then I'm gonna get BNB, and then I'm gonna look to buy 1,000 back and try to accumulate as much of this coin as I can, and really completely free because the Theta Fuel were given to me. Just because I held Theta on the time of the swapnet or whatever that thing it is that they did, I got them for free. So now that I got them, I can see that they're on the market. If this just keeps going way up, then I'll accumulate Binance coin. And then, okay, what happens if this tops? And well, what's going to happen is I've already got 3 buy orders in already because I've already sold 3 times. I've got 3 sell orders and 0 buy orders so far. Or did I? No, nope, nope. 3 sell orders. And now what I'll do is if I buy because it goes way down, let's just assume this goes down to 100, even 200. I've already got my strategy for that. Am I going to buy back more? Eventually, yeah, but not really. In that, I'll have buy order 1 get hit, which is somewhere around here is my next buy order. And then maybe this is what, 470, so maybe somewhere around here I got one. And then maybe down here I might have one. So this will fill, this will fill, this will fill. I'll look to sell them higher in each corresponding one. But what happens if it comes even down to here at 260? Am I just going to buy some more? No. What I'll do is if it goes down and then I see it to start to come up, maybe here. Okay, I'm going to sell. I'll sell here. And then I'll put a buy order here and then. Because I'm never going to buy any. It's only going to be with the free ones. And I don't care if it goes down big because I know no matter what, it's going to have a rally. And I'm going to take whatever BNB I can get for it, realizing that if it goes back down again, I'll buy back and I'll profit take BNB, which essentially it will make me get free trading fees. Because that's what I use to make my fees. When I make a trade to sell Litecoin for Bitcoin or vice versa, I'm going to have to pay BNB for the trade. But I don't really have many of these BNB coins. But I doubled my microscopic supply to a little higher of a microscopic supply. But the only reason it was microscopic to begin with because I had enough to pay my fees. That's the only reason why I have it in there to begin with. So I might as well accumulate it. And if it gets out of hand accumulation, like, oh my goodness, I'm accumulating so much more than I pay in fees, then well, that's a good thing. I'd like to thank you for tuning into this video and have yourself a magnificent weekend. Bye-bye.